everybody. Happy 1st of February. Welcome back to another weekly market review for F45 Trading. We are discussing, of course, February 1st to the 5th, the first trading week of February. Hard to imagine that we've already blown a month out of the water here, and it went by in a blink of an eye. So this month is shaping up to be pretty good, I think. Forex calendar, real quickly. I'm not going to spend any time on this. You guys can reference this on your own accord. But if you have a look, we've got a couple of heavy hitter impact news events for the US dollar and Australian dollar, especially the Aussie. Tomorrow, we've got a rate announcement. Same with everyone else. They're not looking at changing their current interest rate at the moment. That could change down the road, but for now, I think they're going to maintain more of the same. And I'll talk about Aussie here in a few minutes, what I think we can expect. Pretty quiet Tuesday. Wednesday starts to pick up a little bit with some advanced ADP non-farm employment change numbers and US ISM servicing. So watch for that. Thursday, we've got obviously the pound sterling official bank rate. Same thing as well there. They're not anticipating any additional change in that. So be wary of that. And again, a cable is a little bit more choppy, but they definitely are running higher. So we'll also take a look at that market very briefly as well. And then going into Friday, we've obviously got the, as I say, sort of the heavy hitters of the week with NFP, average hourly earnings, and the unemployment rate, which looks unchanged, which I can't see that as being accurate, but you know, that's just me. So after this week, markets should probably start getting back to trading normally in trending directions, hopefully, and away we go. So talking about the US dollar, we've just been stagnating. As I mentioned to you guys, I'm looking for price to run higher. However, I said the alternative is, because it was obviously the FOMC last week and then NFP this week, more than likely they're probably just going to push this thing sideways. And that's for the most part exactly what we had happen. We had, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday had a big up day last week, and Thursday, Friday didn't do much, but we still stayed in this overall price fractal rate in here. Didn't see any movement above or below it in any significant fashion, and we're still sitting in here opening this week up right in the middle of the range. So if you look where we're currently at, I still believe we're going to see 91.50s, that area up into here that I'm looking for. And just keep in mind, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lows right here where they didn't come down to do a meaningful stop run. So that certainly is on the target. Both areas, in my opinion, I think are definitely up for the grabs. What we're going to get, I don't know, honestly, but I do believe we're going to see them run this higher. It could be just, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they push this up into here, Thursday, and then maybe Friday it makes the high up into here, and then they run over, or maybe they shoot down here first and then go higher. Either way, though, I definitely think we're going to see price come up into here by the end of this week. I think that would be my prediction, is when they're going to send it up there. So we'll see what they do here, but we're just right in the middle of a range, guys. There's really not a whole bunch we can do. And you can see last week, a little more detailed, price started out strong and then came back down, failing to sweep below these lows here from the previous week. And then after that Wednesday run up into here, which I was hopeful we were going to see a break up higher, we just chopped sideways and did absolutely nothing. A couple of gaps in there, and price really didn't do anything. So again, look for this area to get tagged, and look for these highs up into here to get run out. But until we can start doing one or the other, if we see price shoot down here and then quickly reject, I believe it's going to be a pretty simple trade up into this range into here. So watch for that, but they could just leave this area completely untouched and just go send it higher from there. Watch this consolidation area down here. You see where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles right into here. And I'm on the 4 hour, of course, so this was pretty much the better part of Tuesday's trading. Just watch this area in here. We could see price return back down into here, and as a possible retouch without actually coming down to these lows. I think there's a pretty good significant draw on that level. So watch that, and then we could see a bounce potentially higher from there. So just put that on your radar screen. Other than that, EurUsd, pretty much the same. I like how they didn't take this low out here on this rundown last Wednesday. And then, as I say, Thursday, Friday just kind of went nowhere, sort of a sideways range. You can see we're kind of starting to work ourselves into a bit of a wedge here, sort of a descending bear flag pattern. if you will. Again, I don't trade off of those patterns, but I think there's more than likely going to be a return lower. And I like this old candle high right here. We could certainly dip deeper down into this range in here, so that's definitely not out of the question. But I think as a relatively easy sort of target, I still like the 120.10s area as kind of a simple target, and definitely a run below. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lows in here that all our stops are sitting under. And everybody thinking that this is going to be a move to the higher ranges. Certainly could be, but I believe they're going to shoot it down here first before that does happen. Now, again, very similar to the dollar. Look how we've done this in here. You see this right into here for the past 5 or 6 or 7 trading days. Not one significant stop run other than on Friday we came up and closed a little bit above Thursday's high there. Traded above Thursday's high there. All of this stuff here is all still open. So it kind of leads me to believe, again, why possibly the move may be something like this week. I'm just totally guessing here. I'm not suggesting that this is definitely what's going to happen, but I definitely think that they're leaving this area here as kind of for a reason. So if we start falling off and take out this low here, I'm aiming for this target here, and then we'll come back up and clean these up afterwards. But I think there's a pretty strong possibility they're going to run these areas in here for anybody who is anticipating this to go short. Quick shot up in here, and then I think they're going to drop it down. What day they're going to do that on, I don't know. But just watch for something like that. I think that could be what the weekly profile is going to be. And then whatever we do down here, we'll have to wait and see if it's a hard bounce and then price shoots up the other way, or if we stay down in this range for an extended period of time. You know, we'll have to see, take that when it comes. But watch these highs in here and watch these lows. They're going to get run out this week. It's pretty much an assurance. You know, unfortunately, I just don't know if we're going to drop down first and then go higher, or go higher and then go lower. But I think both of these ranges, similar to the US dollar, are going to get taken out this week. And he brings me to euro, as I was saying. So we've got a monetary policy statement. You can see prices really banging up into here. There's a level up here on the monthly that we're hitting into the old consolidation range in here. It spent 3 months in this range on the low end of these candles, working this area in here. We're starting to bang up into that right now. And I think they're not running up significantly higher. I think obviously they're waiting for, you know, everything to happen this week here too, monetary policy and the whole bit, NFP, all that kind of jazz, of course. But if you look at price in here, very, very sloppy, really sideways trading. They're making pretty decent sized daily ranges, but it's just not going anywhere. Price is not, for all of January, price did not go anywhere. Had some pretty deep, sizable stop runs down in here on the lower side. Very similar to what it did in December of last year, end of last year. But you can see they're really not decisively cleaning up a lot of these areas. Now, it could just be me being overly cautious, but I think they could dip this down one time in here. So again, if we do see a run higher on US dollar, we should see GbpUsd make that lower low. I'm watching under here. I've got this area outlined just because there is a possibility they could come down to that. But I think more so for sure, I think we're going to see a run, more specifically, I should say, under these lows here. So watch that area there. But definitely, all of last week, I think trading is going to get swept to the downside this week. And then we may make that higher high up into that 137.75 level, which is, again, I don't have it on this chart. I thought I had that marked on here, but it's about a 137.75 high that I'm sort of looking at, right in and around there. And you can see we're just hovering below it now for about a week and a half or so trading days. So I think the very likely scenario is we get a shot up into here, and then price rejects strongly, and then we go lower. That's kind of what I'm more so banking on GbpUsd. So watch out for that. Be careful with this pair, though, because it is monetary policy this week, and then NFP the next day. So if you're going to take a trade on GbpUsd this week, make sure it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and don't be Monday, Tuesday. What was the Wednesday, and then I wouldn't trade this pair after Wednesday until this week settles. Okay. Euro GBP had a very big slide to the downward, lower prices. And we swept all of these areas in here. Finally, decisively swept those areas. I've been waiting for this for all of 2020. for them to come down there. We finally got it. Came down several times in here, really worked this area, but just kind of going sideways, slowly going lower. Very reminiscent of this sort of price action in here, where price is just kind of slowly sliding to the downside. We're getting that in here. And I think we had one touch off in here on this candle that retouched off of this high back in there from early, or I guess late April of 2020. And then, but you can see the bodies, this body in here, really respecting these areas in here in this big consolidation area. You can see how much time price spent in here, where price closed on these candles in here and closed in here. Getting the same thing here. So I would imagine they're probably going to spend a little bit more time in here, at least until the end of this week, as I say, after NFP and after the pound monetary policy statement this week comes out. Then we'll probably see price sort to, I would imagine we're going to see it continue to fall off, at the very least down to 87.50s level, which, yeah, about 150, 200 pips away from current location. I think that's where they're going to be taking it. I don't see this as a reversal pattern. They're going to start screaming up into here. I could certainly be wrong. We could see one more dive, maybe a dive down into here, and then they do that. But I think we're going to see a pretty steady downward decline momentum on Euro GBP. So watch for that. If that does happen, it should push GbpUsd higher, and lower. And EurUsd certainly would go higher. But if they keep working it like this, they'll manipulate both Euro and GbpUsd higher. Okay, so just watch for that. Aussie is, again, just what I said to you guys. It's declining. I called these levels in here last week, and we got exactly that. Price came down very decisively last Thursday and hit right into there. And we opened up lower on the week. We've since gapped and filled that gap in. I'm kind of anticipating price to continue to roll over and go lower. This low here, excuse me, I'm fumbling with my words at the moment. And certainly these lows in here are going to get run out. Now, I've got this area in here highlighted, which you should as well too. So if we lose this low here and price doesn't stabilize back in this consolidation level in here, then just mark all of these lows in here, because I think it'll just be a shot down into there as well. It's a pretty deep range though, so I don't know how likely it is to get down there. But I definitely think we're going to see them run below these two lows and maybe this third low in there. So watch that on Aussie. UsCad, we had a bit of a upside movement on UsCad last week, which is nice to see. However, it's still not really making any direction. You know, kind of like GbpUsd, where it's just sort of going sideways. UsCad kind of do the same thing, just sort of, it's making decent ranges, but nothing that I would consider, worthy to spend a lot of time and my attention on. I have these areas in here highlighted to the upside, and I think they're going to shoot up into there this week as well too. I'd like to see them stay above this level in here. You see where all these candles are really spending a lot of time? I'd like to see them come down, touch off of that, and then bounce and then run higher. We'll see if we get that. But ultimately, if the US dollar does roll over and continue to move lower, UsCad is ultimately going to be trading potentially underneath these lows here in the near future. So watch out for that. And that's those two highs that I had outlined on the daily chart. Watch for a run up into there this week, and then, like I say, a potential roll over going south from there. And you know what I should actually do is we'll do this, and then we'll mark this guy like this, just so we know. Okay, so watch for that on the Forex pairs this week. Flipping over to crude oil quickly, as I mentioned to you guys, I'm looking for crude oil to swing below these lows here. We got that today on open. Price shot down. You can see here the open, we gapped lower, shot below all these lows in here, swept all of last week out, and now we're aggressively running higher. So, again, crude oil, it's just sort of sitting stagnant now. I was really hoping we were going to get continued runs higher, but we've really been working this range all January now, and we haven't really broken out of it, albeit a little drop down here and a little drop down there. But we still have all of these highs up here that we're going to run out. I think we're going to do that here this week. It may take NFP, to do that. There is some stuff internationally happening with crude oil, so just watch out for that. It could stagnate this a little bit. Obviously, COVID is still around and all that jazz. So, manufacturing, this, that, and the other thing. So, again, it's not like the demand is all still there. There's still lots of surplus supply out there. So just watch out for that. They could easily dip down into here lower, but we did get a shallow run so far to the downside. So we'll see what happens when price gets up into here again, if we want to wick up and then shoot down lower again. But I was looking for lower prices and then a run higher. So we'll see how deep they get. I've got it marked out in here. Do we come all the way down here? I don't know. I've got a couple of equal lows down in here marked out and a possible potential return to these old highs. But if we get down there, we're just kind of going to have to wait and see. You could certainly look at buying it up into here and hoping for a run above these highs there. But just with this price action in here from last week, just very, very unpredictable price action. And I don't like to trade these environments. So I like to see nice breakouts and nice extended areas where price will run to one price or another. That gives easy confirmations to get in. When price goes like this isn't easy stuff to trade unless you're just going in and scalping on like a 5 minutes and you're taking a quick high to low run or low to high run there and you're in and out. That's totally fine. You can certainly do that in these market conditions, but to get long range is obviously very, very difficult. So nothing yet on crude oil. And I mentioned to you guys last week, I said watch the metals because something big's going to happen. Unless you guys have been living under a rock, last week some big stuff really, really happened. Not so much in the gold market, but if you take a look at silver, look how we opened up. Just steamrolled higher. This is due to all of the online craziness going on, right? I mean, these guys are on all of these, Reddit and Twitter and all of these social media sites, and they're all saying they've all got, not big accounts. It's just all retail traders, guys sitting at home like you and I, sitting there doing their thing, but they're just putting all of their money. You got to think there's millions of accounts potentially with, thousands of dollars in each account, maybe more, I don't know, that are dogpiling in on some of these trades, like obviously GME, AMC last week, AG, I could list probably a half a dozen for you guys. You guys can go check that out yourself. But silver is the next hot one. It's been known that silver has been a market where it's been extremely manipulated over the years. Everybody says, well, why isn't silver running higher? It should be because of current market conditions, and the shorts are getting in there. These big firms are getting in there and just shorting the silver market and keeping the price depressed. So now the big thing last week was, well, let's take it to these big hedge funds, these big billionaire firms that are shorting all of these stocks and keeping the prices artificially suppressed. And let's take it to them. And they took them to the woodshed, and they lost billions. And now they're doing the same thing to silver. So don't get it twisted. I honestly believe, silver could be into the 30s going into this week, maybe even into the 50s. I don't know. But as long as this whole momentum behind it, it gets in behind it, we're going to see higher prices on silver. Now, that being said, be very careful, because these guys are slick. The guys at Interactive Brokers and the guys at, Robinhood and the guys at, some of these large institutional trading funds, TD Ameritrade, all that kind of stuff, they will just as easily go in and limit the amount of shares you can pick up. So whether you're trading, the futures market in silver, whether you're trading silver miners, whether you're trading, producers, whether you're trading, silver, some derivative of silver options, whatever you want to call it, what they'll do is go in and they'll look where all of the funds are flowing into, and they'll limit the amount of shares that you can purchase or contracts that you can purchase. And that's how they're limiting these things. And which is really unfair, all the big guys can buy as many shorts or whatever position they want at unlimited, but as soon as the retail guy comes in, they're smacking everybody down. So it's definitely a double standard. But that's not for me to decide. I'm just giving you the information. If you didn't already know this, this market here is very manipulated, and I think it's going to be crazy this week. So if you can get in while the getting's good, get in. Be very, very cautious. Obviously, you can and will lose money if you do know what you're doing. Always consult a professional. I am not that professional. You do not consult me. These are only my opinions, not to be constituted as live trade advice, especially with the futures markets. So just be very, very careful, folks. But silver, I think, is going to be big. So anyway, thanks for watching, folks. Until next week, I bid you adieu, and hope you guys have a great week of trading. Remember, NFP, GBP, pound sterling has monetary policy news. Aussie has monetary policy news. So just take it easy this week. Don't go crazy. But watch silver. That's all I'm going to say. Have a great week.